Well, hello again, and relax and sit back. Relax, sit back, because intelligent life has arrived. I was having breakfast yesterday morning. I mean, today's Sunday the 15th, I think it is. Oh yeah, I've got to set the timer as well, because I don't want this to go more than 30 minutes. Okay, so I was having breakfast yesterday, and I watched this thing on one of these channels that puts this stuff out all the time, every day. And he had a guy on there called Matthew Pines. Now, I've seen this fella before, and I think he's some sort of cyber security expert. But he talks very fast. He sounds very smart, but when it comes to ET is here and all this sort of stuff, what he says is complete and utter rubbish. It really is complete and utter rubbish. He's been told disclosure is coming this year, you know. It's imminent. We are right on the cusp of getting disclosure that extraterrestrials are here on Earth. And of course this is complete and utter rubbish, you know. He's been told. He's yet another person that's been told. By whom? Drill down. Who told you? 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 You'll get to the bottom of the pile, be how put off. I think these people are credible, therefore I'm repeating what they've told me as truth. That's all we ever get from these people. You know, he's probably been told by, you know, the usual suspects. He used the term zero doubt. You know, there is zero doubt we're interfacing with extraterrestrials. We're interacting with extraterrestrials. Where have I heard that before? I think that was Gary Nolan, wasn't it, on that podcast? Was it Gary Nolan that said zero doubt? Or 100%? No, it wasn't him. He said 100%, wasn't it? Who was it that said zero doubt? And they said it was their opinion that was zero doubt. Of course, you know, it's Elizondo, Grush, Puthoff, Davis, Admiral Gallaudet. He says, oh yeah, we're interacting with lots of extraterrestrial species, you know. And he's telling this to a bunch of academics at Stanford University at the Sol Foundation. Really? How do you know, Admiral? Well, you know, somebody told me. Must be true. I can fly, Admiral. You know, I flap my arms and I can fly. I can fly around the property. No problem at all. Do you want to repeat that at the Sol Foundation? It's about as likely as anything else you're presenting. And you know, people that are told by people that are told. So you get people go to the Sol Foundation. They listen to the Admiral. They listen to other people that they think may be credible. So they go out into the world and they spread all this complete and utter rubbish as truth. So anyway, Mr. Pines, he's pining for disclosure. Mr. Pines. Oh, and I forgot to mention Danny Sheehan. Yes, he's probably thinking about what Danny Sheehan said. So he's probably relying on this disclosure coming from the UAP Disclosure Act as part of the National Defence Authorisation Act for 2024, the NDAA 2024. Signed off by Joe Biden, you might remember that. Danny Sheehan says there should be a countdown clock. Everything has to be submitted to the US National Archives relating to any extraterrestrial materials, biological or technological materials that anybody may have within government departments or in private enterprise, has to be submitted to the US National Archives within 300 days of this being signed off, which means the 18th of October. So that's just over a month to go. They're all on tenterhooks. all these piffle-peddlers, all these fanboys, they're all hanging on. Oh, it's coming this year. It's going to be before Christmas. And this is where this is coming from. And of course it's complete and utter rubbish. Arrow's looked into it. There's nothing going to the National Archives that relates to UFO ET stuff, or extraterrestrials, I should say. So, Danny Sheehan is saying, Steve Bassett's saying as well, it's going to validate Roswell. But Steve Bassett will see an empty Coke can on the side of the road and go, well, look at that, there's an empty Coke can there. That validates the Roswell story. And because everything over 20 years old is going to be released, classified or not, to the public after the 18th of October this year. Some people say it's the 24th. Danny Sheehan says if you count 300 days, it's the 18th. I haven't looked up on the calendar when that's going to be. If that's going to be at a weekend, then it's probably not going to be the 18th. But that the public can access it anyway. So they're expecting stories like the Roswell story, which very obviously was not the crash of an ET craft. If you look at the story, I've said it, how many times do I have to say it? If you look at the statement made by Mac Brazel, what he found on June the 14th, balsa wood sticks, tin foil, rubber strips, scotch tape and cardboard. It was so unimpressive he didn't report it for 3 weeks till July the 7th. It's not an alien spacecraft, is it? Mogul balloon strings made of balsa wood sticks, rubber strips, tin foil. It's Mogul balloon string number 4. It's obvious, isn't it? So they're going to be sorely disappointed when October comes and goes. There may be some stuff released, but it's not going to validate the Roswell crash. They're not going to get anything that says ET has come here, has ever visited this planet, has ever crashed here, that there's ever been a reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology program. They're not going to get any of that because none of it is true. ET's never been here. So anyway, I was looking at a bit of Danny Sheehan. I said on a previous video I wasn't going to bother with Danny Sheehan anymore. He's, in my opinion, regarding this subject, he's not credible. So he's saying it's all got to go to the National Archives by the 18th of October this year. 300 days from the passing of the Act. Okay, now if you download the PDF of this document, the NDAA, for 2023, where this was signed off, you'll find it, if you download the PDF, you'll find on page 565 of 974, I'll leave a link to the document below so you can peruse it at your leisure. Pages 970, so it's 565, on page 565 of 974 pages, you will find subtitled C, Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. So you'll notice there's no aerial in there, okay? So this covers everything anomalous. Everything anomalous, if it's a dino beaver on a stick that you're waving around, over your campfire because you're camping at Skinwalker Ranch. Whether it's a crash of an ET craft or ET's visiting people, it's it covers all this whole umbrella. Section 18 of 41 deals with unidentified anomalous phenomena, records collection at the National Archives and records administration. Now this is what Danny Sheehan's talking about, and this is what the talk is going to be like amongst the UFO club. Mr. Pines, I'm guessing, is now a member of this UFO club, the inner clique. They know what's going on. Yeah, so do I. And I can smell it from here. All the way down here in Australia, I can smell that steaming pile of bullshit. So, if you look at the document, there is much use of the word shall. Now, in the context of the document, this is a legal term, okay? Shall, if you read a contract, so-and-so, so-and-so, shall do the following. That means it's mandatory, okay? which is good. That's what we want in there. Excuse me. You'll notice when I record the videos later in the day, I don't have this. It's only a sort of early morning thing. Okay, this shall include, this shall commence, etc., etc. Read it for yourself and see what you think. Now, a typical line in many commercial contracts is shall include but not be limited to. It's a legal term. It means that the person you're contracting to do a job will do the following. Shall include this, 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 this. These are mandatory items that must be completed or it's a breach of contract. Okay? So when you see the word shall in that document a number of times, that's what that means. It's mandatory. That's what people have to do. But the problem is, of course, that there's not going to be anything submitted that's got anything to do with ET. I mean, if a company, if a company or a government department has nothing to do whatsoever to do with, has no ET biological or technological material to submit, if it's mandatory to submit what you've got and you haven't got anything, nothing's going to be submitted, is it? That's the bottom line. And that's what's going to happen. People like Danny Sheehan and Steve Bassett, maybe this Mr. Pines, all these other people that are saying, it's coming this year, it's coming, we're on the cusp, it's imminent. Where have I heard that before? It's imminent. Are going to be seriously disappointed. Because it's all science fiction rubbish. Get to Christmas, see who's right, them or me. Nothing is going to be revealed. There's not going to be any disclosure before Christmas. Nothing is going to validate Roswell. And as I said before, another thing that puts a nail in the Roswell story coffin is the Fermi paradox. 1950, Los Alamos. Fermi says, well, where are the aliens? We haven't seen the aliens. He would have been one of the people that was tasked with examining the Roswell spacecraft. Well, if that, in fact, is what it was. Because Los Alamos is only up the road from Roswell. It's in New Mexico. All of the top physicists on the face of the Earth were working at Los Alamos. They'd spent the whole war working there on the Manhattan Project, and they were still there. If it had crashed in 1947, that's where it would have been taken for analysis. It wasn't, was it? Because it wasn't an alien spacecraft. So, it's all science fiction hogwash. Nothing is going to happen. This video will be true in 20 years' time. If anyone sees this, this is the 15th of September. Did I say October before? It's the 15th of September 2024. Now, if anyone watches this on the 20th or in September, in 2044, you'll see that this video is still true. I will still be right. And they will all be saying, oh, we're right on the cusp. Disclosure's coming before Christmas. It's imminent. 20 years from now. 50 years from now. Unless ET does actually turn up and is on every TV channel, live streamed everywhere, and it's something tangible, but I strongly suspect we're so far from anywhere. We're out of the boondocks of the galaxy here. Yeah, I mean, ET coming here, I really don't think so. So, I've said before, ET, technology to get, even if they could get here, the technology is such that they're not going to come here and crash. They're not going to be bothered by EMPs. We're not going to be able to shoot them down. Our military is going to be able to do nothing to them. Their detection and evasion systems would be beyond our comprehension. It's complete and utter rubbish. What they were saying about baiting UFOs and shooting them down, science fiction drivel. Yep, so they're all going to be seriously disappointed. What, of course, will happen is they're going to fall back on the old script. They're going to be saying, well, it must have been submitted to the National Archives, but they're sitting on it. You know, there's a truth embargo. It's a huge cover-up. They're continuing to cover up. Why don't they just tell us the truth? Because they can't say anything else. You know, because if they say, okay, we'll accept that there's nothing ET related has been submitted to the National Archives. You know, we'll accept Arrow's looked into every program and every compartment, and there's nothing ET related to any of this. We'll accept that. They can't say that because they've got books to sell. They've got DVDs to sell. They've got TV appearances, TV shows, the talk circuit, the conferences. You know, go on a UFO cruise. You know, all paid for. Plus, you get a nice healthy fee for going and talking a lot of crap for 2 hours. You know, it's an industry. It's ET is crashing here and being reverse engineered LLC. And a little group of people in the middle that are making a good living out of it. These institutes, you know, the Paradigm Institute, you know, New Paradigm Institute, all these institutes, all these non-for-profits, organisations are making a tidy living out of it. Because the not-for-profit can't have any money in the bank at the end of the financial year. So if there's $1 million in there and there's 4 people running it, they get 250 grand each of your money for telling you science fiction stories. To get your money. Because they know that's what you want to hear. They are milking you. If you are a fan of this science fiction bullshit. Science fiction is fine. Science fiction peddled as truth is a completely different story. Yeah, I mean, these people are going to... They will go to their graves, you know, Sheehan and Bassett and all these people. They will go to their graves saying it's a cover-up, you're being lied to, there's a truth embargo. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, and people will be saying that mumbling is a prophet. You know, what he was saying 10, 20 years ago, it's absolutely right today. You know, 2044, 2045, whatever. 2055. Unless they turn up for real. And it's on every television channel, streamed live all over the internet. It's a real event. Proven to be a real event with tangible evidence that it is real extraterrestrials. So, yeah, there is no global conspiracy to keep the truth hidden. If there was, SETI would be part of that. SETI have said they're not obliged to tell the government if they find anything. They're not obliged to tell the government first. They don't have to sign NDAs. They wouldn't keep it a secret. Yeah. So the bottom line is, and the truth is, ET has never been here. ET is not coming here. ET is certainly not crashing here. It's all science fiction rubbish. It always has been. Yeah, okay. Well, that wasn't bad, actually. That was only 20 minutes, I think. So, anyway, I downloaded some of the Soul Foundation white papers. And I thought I'd have a look at those and maybe comment on those. So here they are, the Soul Foundation. Soul Foundation white papers. This is what they're producing with your money. Every single one of them is arse paper, of course. It's a lot of intelligent sounding drivel so that people out there think they're getting something for their money, but it's all irrelevant codswallop. You know, how to deal with ET, of course it's all ET related. If there's no ET coming here, then it's arse paper, isn't it? All of it, every page is arse paper. Okay, well I think that'll do. It's a quick one today. I think that was only, what, 20 minutes maybe? Yeah, 20 minutes. But that's all there is to report. There is just nothing else going on. There was that other guy, that bald general, I think, but he was only saying the same thing that all the others are saying. You know, he's been told. You know, it becomes wearing, doesn't it? All this. Oh yeah, well I know. I've been told. I know. I've been told. David Grush. Yeah, he's the man. You know. And of course he isn't. None of them are. And it'll be interesting to see what happens at this new congressional hearing. It'll be interesting to see what happens at this new it's ham radio repeater in the background. I was listening to the ham radio news this morning. Well, bits of it anyway. And forgot to turn the radio off when I stepped out here to do the video. So anyway, with that I'll wrap it up because I'm starting to ramble. But take my word for it. Disclosure is not coming this year, it's not coming before Christmas, it's not coming next year, it's not coming in the next 10 years, it's not coming in the next 20 years. It's all science fiction hogwash, and the sooner they take it seriously and get Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis subpoenaed, get them in front of Congress and drill down to the heart of this. Okay, you're telling me you've worked on these programs? Take us there, show us this stuff. If they can't do that, it's not real, is it? Oh, and someone said, oh, Ross Coulthard, I trust Ross Coulthard. He's a respected investigative journalist. Well, I'd put it to you that a respected investigative journalist doesn't investigate a story and then keep the results of that investigation to himself. You know, he knows where there's an alien spacecraft that crashed outside of the US. It's so big they had to put a building over it. He's not going to tell us where it is, though. He knows exactly where it is. He's not going to tell us where it is. What sort of investigative journalism is that? How many people would be involved in building a building big enough to go over a huge alien spacecraft? You know, who's going to design the building? You know, who's going to build it? You're not talking about two people in a shed here, are you? You know, the plumbing systems, the electrical systems, the AC system, you know, the air conditioning systems. You know, it's going to need an architect. It's going to need structural engineers. You're talking about hundreds of people, and not one of those has sold the story for millions of dollars. Not one of those has said, you know, I'm going to tell you where this alien spacecraft is, follow me, I'll show you, you know, cut a piece off of this, get it tested, you'll find it's extraterrestrial, because their name would go down in history. Not one person has done that. It's, you know, how can you respect any investigative journalist that is going to tell you a story like that and then say, I'm not going to tell you where it is? He's got a book to sell. Is he a part of this ET's coming here and crashing here LLC? Is he getting kickbacks from this? You know, it's a little company. Well, it's a big company. You know, some of these people are doing very well out of it. You know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of your money for leading you, if you're a fan of this recovered ET spacecraft, ET's crashing here rubbish, if you're a fan of that, you're being led down the garden path by the nose, and your wallet is being emptied for a lot of bullshit. If you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, as usual, many thanks for watching, and maybe I'll catch you again.